A good morning to all of those who tuned into the realest thing coming out again. I look a little rumful up today, you know. I'm traumatized as a result of the Venezuelan aggression. I'm worried. At least I was worried yesterday until I saw the response of the Guyana Defense Force. And I knew we were in good hands. I had nothing to worry about. TikTok was on our side. You understand? I can't make up these things. And only yesterday, one of our Venezuelan sisters came out in solidarity with us. Massive responses, massive support. Even Gaza has not gotten this kind of support that Guyanese have gotten. And not to make fun of it, Gaza needs the world's support. No, on a serious note. Right? We want peace in the Middle East. But right now, here as we stand, I will first show you the Venezuelan aggressions and a stark response by the Guyana Defense Force.
Venezuela military exercises at Guyana border. What the hell is going on? Venezuela.
Now I can tell you, we not taking that. Guyana's response.
You a champion bubbler. You a champion bubbler. You a champion bubbler. My girl. You a bubbler, bubbler, bubbler. You a bubbler, bubbler, bubbler. Alisa, bubbler, bubbler, bubbler. Hi. Mama want to know. I'ma do it like that. Queen cut the pussy from the body like that. Me want you feel I'm rough with me. If me drop off of the cocky, never bounce like that. Hey Lisa, oh you do it like that.
Well, I can tell you, the Venezuelans running scared. All helicopters stop flying. They clear the airspace right away when they see this TikTok. Right? Right away, Venezuelans stand down. There was not another video. The aggression done. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Critic.
Yes, sir. How can I be of help to you?
Yeah, listen, I got a serious problem, and this problem, the government to tell you come back to this country, and this is the fifth time I'm coming, and I got a whole week before I get water in this place, buddy.
You have more than one problem. You got some, is a stutter or is the thing sticking? You also have a... Here, send the details to me. Send the details to me and I'll get your water started out. Don't worry, brother.
We live a diamond, buddy.
Send the fucking details to me. Where you live, your address, what's up. You gotta know this thing. You come, but you've been outside, but like you don't learn nothing.
Right.
Send the details to me. Where is it? Thing and something. Go send them to guy and they go fix your thing. Right?
Good.
All right, brother.
Thank you, man.
Good, ahead. Man, we having a nice time with the champion bubblers. This is serious. No, you can't interrupt. Maybe we are at the brink of war here. You understand? And I want you to learn, you know, this is war tactics. We immediately deploy the TikTok soldiers and everybody in Venezuela runs scared. Right away, immediately after this. A young lady said she was in solidarity, Venezuelan. She loves this country of champion bubblers. Look at this. I kid you not. Massive protests on the seawalls of Guyana. No play. Venezuelans in solidarity with Guyanese. It can't get better than this. And you worrying about mortgage and what going on. There's a lot of things going on in this country. As Kesha can't make up these things. It's not me, buddy. You say, what kind of video is this? What is not I make them? I just show you. I kid you not. I just listened to an 11-minute mystery from a story from Big Smith. A mystery of a murder. Mystery of the guy who get murdered at Ogle. And I heard so much a thing about the guy. He say he good, but he could be bad. And the girl said this, and the only thing me hear is that he had a job. He never come home from work. Wish she thought what happened with he. When he going by people and people pulling gun by he and people police there by he searching up on how she thought it would end. Eh? She thought it was a fairy tale love a life she did. I don't know. So again, hi my brother, morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Critics. Can you please play back the soldier dancing for me?
No. This is not a play. This is not. I need you people to take this thing seriously. I will be playing it, and we'll be assessing the situation because it seems that we're in a wartime. But our Guyana Defense Force has responded starkly, and they've driven the fear of God into the Venezuelans, and I hear back from them.
Funny and serious at the same time. You make my day. Anyway, have a blessed day. Bye.
Safe. Good morning, my brother.
Good morning, Critic. How you doing, buddy?
You know we're live, right?
Yes, I want to talk about Venezuela and Guyana.
Yes. So let me give the viewers an update. We have Selwyn Peters, one of Guyana's and Canada's best lawyers online, and give me your take on Venezuela. And if you have anything on our response, as you see, our response has been very frightening, and it seems to have driven Venezuelan army back.
I mean, the way that Guyana is going to continue to be ahead of Venezuela is through the court process and diplomacy. We don't have the sort of military capacity and capability, but we do have the geopolitical forces in our favor, because certainly the Americans, the Canadians, CARICOM, they're all aligned with Guyana, and so I don't see the posturing of Maduro and the military at that border as nothing more than bluster.
I hear you. You know, what I told my viewers recently, Selwyn, is the fact that a few months ago, there were military exercises claiming to be drug exercises, drug warfare exercises with the American military and Guyanese. And what do you think Venezuelans were thinking at that time? You see, if you're not in a man's shoes, you don't know the circumstances, right? So them and they border doing the exercises. Obviously, they're trying to send a message to us. You understand? But it also shows if you have intent on moving on us, you're merely minutes away. You move. You don't be walking in your fence line cussing and you understand? So it's an intimidation tactic, and I don't think Guyanese, for the most part, should get really, really worked up about that. But we don't want to be agonizing the Venezuelan also, because Venezuela is just about, I recently heard America is going to be relaxing some of the holds they have on Venezuela, embargoes and these kind of things, and with the intention for them to have an election. So imagine Maduro election coming up, and Maduro wants to show that he is the big honcho. You understand? He got to show something.
Well, he's very hawkish, and the Guyanese used to what you described a few minutes ago. Guyanese used to say "pumping scene." You remember that term?
Pumping scene, like pump scene.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's what Maduro is doing, and certainly with the sort of mobilization at the border, with the referendum and all that sort of stuff. The president was recently in Canada. He's back in Guyana, so I had a great time with him, and he really represented Guyana well. But I thought to myself, if the president was concerned, he would have left that summit and flew back to Guyana immediately.
Are you suggesting that the president was not concerned, or the matter itself was not concerning?
The matter was not of the gravity that would have caused the president to curtail his schedule in Canada.
Okay, because a lot of people have been saying, and I'm here, and I'm thinking, the president should have been here, a seat on the bench cap program, and everybody is bashing the president. And I was looking and I said, yes, they had a state in a time of any situation needs to be. But he would have already assessed the situation. And you have the man who's heading the country at the time, who's acting president at the time, having a good military understanding and background, that when he's being told or advised by the military, of which he was ahead, you understand? So we are in a situation where the country, or the placement of leaders in the country, could not have been better at the time. You understand?
I agree, and the thing about it is, you're right, because we do have the former chief of staff who was acting as president for the past few days, and not only that, but the substantive president or office holder, even though he's in Canada, he would have been fully briefed and continuously briefed by the Defense Board in Guyana.
Selwyn, since I have you here, there are a few things I want to discuss. This morning was supposed to be a fun one, but it should be educational also. You have been, in the past, a supporter in many ways of the PNC, by extension, the APNU, and the coalition. You were an observer. You had certain experiences. We're not going back to the election. And you have been, in some cases, representing people against the state, the present state. So I could say, for the most part, you have been, out of all the people, one of the fairest, right? You have called out the government, present government of the day, when you see there have been shortcomings, and you have spoken out against the opposition. What do you think of the president's present performance?
Well, I think the president's performance is excellent. I mean, a lot of people, some people criticize President Ali, but I got to tell you, in 3 years, President Ali has gotten a stride. President Ali was in Canada, and I was with the president. I don't know if you know that.
I wasn't aware, no.
But I was with the president in Ottawa, and there were cabinet ministers from all spectrums of the Canadian polity, and there were Caribbean leaders and their teams, and the sort of reception that the president got was you should be there to see. But then their pictures posted on his Facebook page, and you could see the sort of deep admiration that even people outside of Guyana, the Guyanese diaspora has for this man. And he delivered, like, his speeches at the Canadian CARICOM Forum was much more deeper, much more thoughtful than even that which Justin Trudeau delivered.
So you think...
I think... Mm-hmm. Sorry, go ahead.
You think we have been exceptionally represented?
I think I was very proud of him. I have to be quite frank. I mean, I think that, the sort of posturing that's going on between the PPP and the PNC is simply politics. I mean, they should give Jack his jacket. Look, I think that, and I want everyone to put it in their pipe and smoke it. I say so. I think this president is going to go down as one of the greatest presidents in Guyana.
My brother, I must tell you, and because of the position that I've taken, the experiences I've had in life, anything is expected. But I'm willing to throw my hat because in the ring, because of the experience of 3 years of this president, just 3 years of this president, I am willing to bet that this president will go down in history as the best president Guyana has ever seen. And likely in our lifetime, because we're to see, myself and you are going to see maybe 2 other presidents. 2030 is going to be Ali. Obviously, he's taking, because of his posture, everything else, because of his proactive, proactive approach, because of how he presents Guyana on the international market, represents. So all the boxes needed to be ticked off for a president has been ticked off. And like when you get your thing, you get your degree, we call it with not honors. When you pass university, when you pass.
Well, you matriculate, but you either graduate with
distinctions. So he's graduating with distinctions. You understand? Every way you look at it, he's performing. Not to say that he hasn't massive support, right? Again, although you would be looking and critiquing, I could only imagine the support you being there, the president knowing that you, a man who has, do you have any matters against the state presently?
Yeah, I'm still representing. I'm still representing Paul Slow.
But look at that.
Appeal. We still have some matters. But let me tell you this: in my role as a lawyer, I'm not a political lawyer. My role as a lawyer is professional and principled. Okay, and so that doesn't mean that I don't support the president or support the government of Guyana. The president's ambit has to be within the law. And the president was joking around with me and Motley and the Prime Minister Belize and all those people when we were hanging out. And he says, someone took me to court. He says, someone took me to court many times. He just take me to court. And I said, I take you to court and won. You got to remember that I made history in Guyana too. Because I'm one of the only lawyers in Guyana that has taken this president to court under the Constitution and won twice. We won in Paul Slow's case, and we won in the Permanent Secretary's case because presidents want to have their way. And sometimes having their way would tamper with the Constitution. And that's what happened in this case, where the president terminated the life of the Police Service Commission for whatever reason he did it. And also appointed those 2 permanent parliamentary secretaries, knowing fully well that the court had already ruled that you can't appoint persons from the list as parliamentary secretaries. So sometimes you have to make sure that the president's powers are checked within the Constitution.
No, but the reason for me bringing up this,
I had no problem checking them.
The reason for me bringing up this, Selwyn, you have been down here and you're fighting many cases, and you're aware that there are lawyers that are not like that. When they are in a fight, they develop a personal vendetta. This is clear. It happens every day. They develop a personal vendetta, and which causes their professional stance to be blurred. So I'm talking to a man who is in Canada with the president, who is willing to accept the president's performance is exceptional, and also while having cases against the president when he felt the president overstepped. So it can't get fairer than this. It doesn't get fairer than you. If we had more persons like yourself, politicians and lawyers, I could tell you, Selwyn, Guyana would be the best country in the world. It would be the most democratic country in the world, because this is what democracy is about. Selwyn, you still with me?
Yeah, and sometimes people don't look at it that way. You have to separate the personal from the professional.
Yeah. Because I'm we meet up a lot of times, Selwyn. Every time you come back, we meet up. But I'm glad you were there, because if I was the person who was there and telling people how the president performed, people think, oh, Critic comes with a bias because the way he speaks to the president, of the president. And, one of the things is what you're seeing is not just, because, for instance, I could call the president. Right? If needs be, there's a situation that arises, I could call the president and say, sir, this is the situation. These people need help. And a president that responds. I never even had an audience with President Granger. Not an audience. I don't know if you met President Granger. And what was President Granger like? Let's be fair, Selwyn. You obviously would have met President Granger, being a major financier to the PNC once. What was President Granger like? The human aspect of it.
President Granger is a deep thinker. He's a deep thinker. President Granger respect hard work as well. So President Granger hired me as a lawyer for the joint services during the prison fire, and I got hired for a few other things during the APNU AFC government, because President Granger respect hard work and intellectual rigor, and so he's that way. He's a deep thinker, but I admit that President Granger can come across as aloof. I accept that characterization of him, because when I came for the election as an observer, I attended both the PNC and the PPP rallies, and I was surprised at the degree of barriers. I don't know if you went to the rallies.
Yes, both rallies. The PNC both rally. Launching of both rallies. I was at the PNC rally at which was first at by Coffee Square there, Durban Park. Right. The launching of
what was that?
Huh?
And one was at Parade Ground.
Roger, yeah. And then I went to Kitty, where PPP launched their rally.
Yes, so I was surprised. I didn't thought the APNU, AFC, PNC would have won the election when I saw the chasm, because the plurality was quite small, and if you turn off enough voters, they're going to sit on their hands. They're not going to come out and vote for you. And I thought that is what happened with the PNC, APNU, AFC. I still think that is happening. I mean, I listened to the various social commentators, and they speak about some discontentment, some anger, some division within the PPP camp. But you don't see that. Even if the PPP has division, and there's no doubt that they would, whether it's Barrett Jagdeo as vice president or whether it's Orfanali, they have whipped their team into shape so that you don't see that division manifesting itself publicly. But you see that very clearly in the PNC.
Since I,
with the sidelining of Roysdale Ford and Christopher Jones, and all these are very competent and capable politicians. You can't sideline them and you want to win an election. You have to have that unity of purpose.
Selwyn, since I have you here, and being a person of a legally sound mind, and the cases you've won, and the fact that you're not only an exceptional lawyer and high performer in Guyana, you also is very well respected in the legal fraternity in Canada. Where do you think we stand with our Venezuelan case?
Well, Guyana is on very solid footing. I can't see. Guyana has always been on solid footing on the legal front, and that's why you have the pomposetting, the pomping and the posturing that Maduro is doing or carrying on with. I think the problem that Guyana has, it's not to be xenophobic or anything, but the concern now is that Venezuelans are embedding themselves in Guyana in such large numbers that you can have them enough in Guyana to overpower our infrastructure and our bureaucracy if the appropriate and necessary checks aren't concerned. But on the legal front, Guyana's case is very strong, and not only strong, but Guyana retained the best and the brightest to represent its interests. I mean, and it was quite bipartisan. I mean, and that's a good thing. Another good thing about this government. This government recognized talent, right? And Carl Greenidge is a staunch PNC, and Carl Greenidge would have been a very good president. And this government hired him as well to be part of its team.
Yeah. Very bipartisan approach.
And so I don't see I see Guyana being ahead on the legal front. I see Guyana being ahead on the international front. The only thing that we have to combat is certainly the fear. We have Guyana, the government have to move to quell the fear of Guyanese, because I mean, Critic, you're on the ground right now, but I'm not on the ground, but I can read the Facebook postings. I think there is some unease amongst Guyanese, whether they're in Essequibo or Georgetown or Berbice. Would you agree?
I hear. Let me get it again.
There is some unease with the posturing of the Venezuelan military.
Yes, because of the fact that how it's being shared, how it's being dispensed. And it's unfortunate that opposition supporters, when you go and research and see who are the persons putting this thing out there. Like yesterday, Brian Max was saying, war is coming. And I'm like, what the hell? And the Guyana police force has not done anything. I could remember man being charged and put before the court. I initiated those the charges, caused him to be charged because I gave the police the evidence. I brought it to the police attention and made a report. When he spoke of something about Venezuelan attacking and people blowing up things and all kind of thing. So you can't be try to create public mischief and public terror. But it seems something the Guyana police force don't even know what are the legal ramifications and what things are illegal. They ain't got people checking social media, like they ain't got people doing that. You understand? You got to bring it to their attention and then they realize, oh, this was against the law. Brian Max driving yesterday's header says war is coming. What would you have seen, what you have heard, in what capacity you receive the information, listen to what he say, you realize he needs to be taken off of the air.
Well, let's forget about Brian Max, because certainly I know you and Brian Max got something going on. I listened to your program last week, And I know him and this other guy that's one of the haters that first hired you, was plotting, according to what I heard. You know, the playback of those voice notes or whatever they were that you played in your program, that he was engaged in a discussion that was quite inappropriate concerning you and the need to take you out and all that sort of stuff. But on your personal level, success is going to breed haters, or perceived success is going to breed haters. Critic, let me tell you this on a personal note with respect to you. You got to look beyond those haters. You think Selwyn Peters became successful in Canada and Guyana without the haters? But I've learned to ignore them completely.
That is not...
Don't even engage.
Well, one of the things, Selwyn, what happens, so my life, most people live, or my followers and supporters live vicariously through me, through whether it is my, outdoor experiences, whether it's my outbursts, whatever. So what I have done is made sure that my life is always fronting or shown to people for the most part. So people could know from these experiences, they could say, oh, well, is now we alone, right? So it's not to say that I'm so worried, because how I could come, let me be honest. So if you something I'm to you, I tack Selwyn Peters. If something I'm to Jack you, if something I'm to bench cap, I tack. But something I'm to me, and I come here and tack him as Selwyn Peters and fail to realize I'm pissed for my fans. You understand? Play like I see and everybody else see. It would be hypocritical of me. You understand? Because you're talking about everybody's story, but you're talking about your own story. So it comes off like me worrying about them. But the funny thing is, Selwyn, if I was worrying, I wouldn't have been here the next day and the day after. And I wouldn't have been still performing at a very high level. You understand? But it's just that...
So that part, the part where someone urinated on your fence is public mischief. Like that could be sanctioned by law. No one has the right to show up at your fence and whip their thing out and do what that person did and broadcast it to send a message.
Well,
like that,
it's not much of a worry.
It shouldn't be countenance.
Because...
No, I'm not talking about that part. That part is wrong.
Understood.
Well, you go ahead. Sorry.
Since we're here, no, because what I try to show people is that in life you're going to have these endeavors, and we're talking about haters because of, again, as you said, rightfully put it, perceived success, right? So we talk about haters. Now, other people, the reason why I chose to make sure this is at the forefront and I have the discussions is because other people are having these experiences and they don't know how to deal with it. And you are calling me and telling me, Critic, this is how you deal with it. I've had problems with my success. You think it's been easy? And we have an attack. And some people might not have anybody to talk to, but because they see this discussion that we're having, you're advising me. My willingness or unwillingness to accept or whatever, how it is, right? They're looking on at that and they're thinking, this makes a lot of sense. Don't worry. If Critic don't worry about them, or Critic worries about them, then Selwyn advises Critic not to worry about him, and Critic decided to take Selwyn's advice and not to worry about him. I think I should do the same thing. That is the right thing to do. You understand? So in the whole process, we can't forget that there's a whole learning process, an educational process. And Selwyn, you would not imagine the people. There are men in their 60s and 70s as call and say, Critic, thank you for showing us, thank you for advising. And I'm like, I just farted 3 bars. Where's like how I can advise? He said, nobody has done that. Nobody has been willing to talk about their experiences. Nobody has been willing to be forthcoming with all their experiences in every harsh and rough form and way, anything that's happened to them, being real about it. So people are thankful for that. So I'll take your advice, Selwyn. Many people advise on the same note, but your own being more public. So I'll take your advice. One other thing, Selwyn, you being someone keeping abreast with what's going on in Guyana, I know you love your country. I know, you read a lot, you do a lot of research, and that is the reason for that is not me seeing you reading books. It's being a successful lawyer takes research, takes a lot of reading, takes a lot of understanding. Being an exceptionally brilliant lawyer. The Washington Conference, did that make any sense to you? Give me your take on the Washington Conference.
I can't comment on the Washington Conference itself because I didn't watch the hours of deliberation that took place in Washington at the conference hosted by Mr. Burke. But what I can tell you is that the opposition parliamentarians going to Washington, interacting with the members of whether it was the House or the Senate, that is good politics. That is good geopolitics. You want not only the government, but you want the opposition to be out there. I mean, remember this. When you contextualize everything as a whole, Guyana is a functioning democracy, right? Make no mistake about it, regardless of, let's put aside what happened at GCOM. Let's put aside what happened at Ashman Building. Let's look at 2023. Guyana is a functioning democracy. And you heard how I picked up the president just now. You want the opposition to be out there. You want, and the opposition has some brilliant politicians. Regardless of what anyone says, I'll tell you this. Amanza Walter Desir and Royce Delford are two of the most brilliant politicians in the APNU, AFC, PNC, PPP.
I see Amanza as a good politician. It's just a shame with numbers. Should just keep making the mistakes with numbers.
Yeah, but everyone has their own foibles and follies and
but she's a good politician. I like the fact that she's a sturdy woman. She's poised. She's a good politician.
The thing about it is, and I think Guyana has to move beyond that. So I think the opposition and the government, they're in their different spheres, but they have a legislative sphere and a governance sphere that make them have to work together, and they have to work together. So the opposition, I don't. Let me tell you this. I'm going to say this, and I know people get mad with me, and that's all right. I put up with a lot during the election, and I got over it. That's why I represented y'all in those cases, PNC, of course. That's why I represented y'all in those cases against the current government, because I wanted to keep everything proportionate, and I didn't want the current government to overstep. But I want to say this: the stuff that President Ali is racist and Vice President Jagger is racist is complete nonsense.
Utter nonsense. Utter nonsense. Imagine going to Washington. That was really my concern, because I would think the Washington opportunity was a unique one. So if you it's not only to present the issues that concern you, but to present yourself and your mannerisms, to express your modus operandi, right? And when you go all these things, then people ask, so where's the evidence? There was no evidence. There was no reports to the ERC. Nothing. Just hearsay. Who are the people?
Let me tell you this. No, but Critic, listen to this. Mm-hmm. You realize I have litigated cases against the government for the past 3 years.
Yeah.
And many cases have been litigated against the government for the past 3 years. Mm. Not one case touched on race.
Sad.
Not one case touched on race, right? And number two, right? Let me tell you this. I can speak on race because you know who Selwyn Peters is? The test in Canada for race is called the Peters test. Selwyn Peters, is the legal test for racism in Canada. There's a case called Peters versus B Law Association. where someone tried to kick me out of a law library, a lawyer's launch, because they didn't think a black man with dreadlocks could be a lawyer and belong in there. And that case became a significant and landmark case in Canada. When you talk about human rights and talk about race and racism, I'm the guy.
And
I
you
would know.
You would know.
He's
You would
racist.
be able to identify it. So I'm thinking, Selwyn, in the pursuit of trying to create a racist scenario or some form of racism, isn't the opposition overlooking the genuine issues that are affecting Guyanese? There have to be things that this government is not getting right.
And they know the things that the government isn't getting right.
But why they don't show it
I mean,
up?
that's for them to work out. But let me tell you this. I mean, the thing about society, right? But there's one thing that you have to drill down for and control for. In every society, in every person, there's some form of implicit bias, right? Our training tells us that. So we all are biased in some way, whether some people have an implicit bias based on race, some people have an implicit bias based on gender, some people have biases based on religion. But in life, we all sort of control for it and disabuse ourselves of it. Someone may have a stereotype about Muslims, and then you realize that that's a stereotype, and you have to disabuse your mind of it. People implicitly and subconsciously do that every single day. We all do it, and so we all have implicit bias. We all have implicit associations, and sometimes that can manifest itself into overt racism. In Guyana, there is racism, no doubt about it. In every society,
Every society.
there's racism. But the racism in Guyana, the honest truth about it is the racism in Guyana manifests itself mostly around elections. I know there's a concern about the distribution of contracts and the distribution of wealth and so on and so forth. I mean, Guyana has a procurement commission, and I believe that procurement commission is tasked with the awarding of contracts and contracts over a certain threshold. So, I mean, if people have problems with the awarding of tenders and contracts, they can litigate that.
Selwyn,
It doesn't necessarily mean it's racism.
Selwyn, on that point, we're talking about contracts, and we can't do that and leave an elephant in the room. Since you have brought up that point, I have been recently a company that I own, and you know me personally, Selwyn. Personally, you've come to my studio. You know what I'm gifted for. We've spoken about my drive, my expectations, what I aspire to be. When we were doing together, I was interviewing you and so on. When you were observer for the elections, I did not have Queenstown. We did not have TBN. Wasn't an entity as yet, and so on. You know me building. To some extent, you would have seen my entrepreneurial background and following me. You see, so I have a Tupui group, and we have engineers. We've fairly young company, and I've hired engineers. I've equipped myself to be one of the leading construction companies in this country. And recently, my company was awarded a contract for just around $1 billion, close to $1 billion, to build a pump station. What is your take on something like that? Your honest opinion.
I mean, certainly, I'll tell you this. I mean, as long as you hire, even if you don't have the skill critic, because you're not an engineer, but even if you hire the right people, if you hire the right subcontractors, if you have the core of people around you to support the venture that you were successful in bidding for, your group is going to be able to do what it has to do. And from the looks of things, it's not like you're not on the ground. It seems like you're quite a hands-on executive because, even when you do the live, you got your yellow vest there and you show up on the scene and you're actually integrally involved in the work.
Do you, from your experience of me, Selwyn, just a few times, we've met, Mazi, but, a handful of times, we sit, we talk, and so on. Do you think someone such as myself is competent enough to pull it off?
Yeah. I mean, the thing about it is that's why I said to you that you have to move beyond, you have to move beyond haters and focus on the task at hand. People will, it's Guyana, right? They say people that's, I forgot, tantalize. Guyanese culture is to tantalize people, and it's almost like a class thing, right? You didn't went to Queen's College, right?
No, Brickdam Secondary.
You're not a Queen's College boy, all right, Critic?
Yeah.
So there's certain people in Guyana. Guyana still has a certain class thing, whether it's lawyers or business people and so on. Certain people aren't supposed to be successful. Certain people aren't supposed to rise to the top. I mean, I see there's also the shadow. I see the shade being thrown between you and Mohammed. What's going on over there?
As like for recently, he was speaking about billionaires in debt and so on. He wasn't speaking about me. And me and him talked about it. He was speaking about another businessman who even owed them money. And because I'm not in debt, I don't have debt. I don't have bank. I recently, first time, had some discussions with a bank, and today I'm having some talks with a bank at 1 o'clock. But interest and all kind of things get me off. And remember, I could go anywhere and get credit. So I'm not the billionaire in debt. What I did is I choose, just because you asked, I choose to stay silent in it, because where there's a billionaire in debt, I don't know nobody in this country who ain't a business, and a bank giving them $1 billion loan, they ain't taking it. So, however, if it's just meaning, well, because of some tax, somebody saying there's a billion, the main fact, I die in, because billionaire accepting and people looking at it and suggesting that I am a billionaire. I die in. You understand? So once a time a billionaire, if somebody call me low life for hungry belly, I answer. You understand? But what I got for answer when somebody's saying you're a billionaire in debt? The world is in debt. I know the only billionaires I know that they've been in debt was Escobar and El Chapo, them circles though. You understand? So who will come out and say they ain't debt? I glad for them. You understand?
Well, even Donald Trump just take people money and spend it.
Yeah.
That's why they're charging him. He used to inflate his buildings.
That is it.
To get credit.
So, Selwyn, I want to thank you for your input. And what happens, a lot of times, like with me, people continue to ask, what's going on with me and ask. There is not enough space sometimes for us. You understand? A lot of times, like me, he there doing heating, forging ahead with heating, and I there wiring from me front. A lot of times we used to have time, we usually got time in the weekend, and by Friday we planning what we doing. No, I just ain't got the time. The dynamics just don't work anymore. You understand?
And you know what, Critic? Right now is the time. Right now, you're in a good position to build a solid foundation for your company, for yourself, for your family, and ably sustain a wide sector of the population. So you focus on that.
Yes.
You focus on business development, business capitalization. You're in a good spot right now. Focus on it.
Thanks for your advice, brother. And thank you for, putting up so much time for us this morning and bringing the clarity to so many different things. Selwyn, it's always a pleasure talking to you. Thank you, buddy.
Yeah, man, you take care.
Cool. Peace out. So somebody trying to call me about 100 times here. 10 times to be exact. What do we hear? What's the problem? Where's a champion, Babala? Just so we can get back to Guyana's response to Venezuela aggression. No, they ain't answering. What, did they just want to disrupt Selwyn? Who number is 612-4843? Yeah, I'll put it up there, and anybody want to call a number just for call for fun, call this number. 612-4843. 612-4843. Let me make a call to them one more time, and if not, it's torment for the life. You just call them 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, anytime. They call and now they're answering, call 10 times just so when Selwyn talking, and now y'all calling. 612-4843. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, good morning. Returning a missed call.
Miss Scott. Critic.
So he called for fun. Must call you 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, critics. I just want to compliment you and Selwyn for that heavy, solid conversation. That was very good.
All right, buddy. Thanks for your
Thank
words
you.
of support.
Bye.
Cool.
Bye.
Yeah. Straight into Venezuelan aggression and Guyana's response.
Venezuela military exercises at Guyana border. What the hell is going on?
What the hell is going on? You want to know?
Venezuela military
So
exercises.
straight in to we response.
You a champion bubbler. You a champion bubbler. My girl. You a bubbler, bubbler, bubbler.
Yeah, by hold on there, we can talk just now. Let me show them this.
My man wants to move. I'ma do it like that.
Yeah, bye.
The pussy on the body like that.
Me want you to run.
Hello?
With all the business ideas.
What is?
There for you, man.
I hear you.
I said I think you are related to Peter the Gyar.
Oh
With all the good ideas.
no. It's a Portuguese thing. It's Rodriguez, the Gyar. No, I don't think it's no relation. But if you know Portuguese people, you'd realize we're very creative. You know, a lot of us got an entrepreneurial background. And here, no, when we came here, we were the merchants. We were brought here with the shops and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's correct.
So we got the background.
Yeah, my dad was a big Gyar supporter, man. You know, UF party.
Okay. We gotta resurrect the thing there. Cause I could get some voters like you and I if I resurrect the party. It's UF, no?
Yes, United Force.
Roger that. There's a good thing for bring back. Let me see. Because there are 18% of mixed people in this country that really and truly being disenfranchised. They ain't got no place. And when I study in it, I fight for black and Indians and blacks causing me and Indians trying to pull me down. You understand? It's better I hold up than mix up with them Douglas people and them Amerindian people and we do we thing. It's 18% of we.
Yeah. Exactly.
United Force. Let me think about it for 2025.
Yeah, okay.
We talk, bro. Yeah, United Force. And this is what the PNC failed to realize. The PNC does not present itself as a party. They present itself as a race organization like Black Lives Matter. You understand? They present themselves as a party for everybody. And you gotta come for everybody. You want to meet. How you appealing to them? You ask yourself, as a Douglas man, as a mixed man, how does the PNC appeal to you? Simple, right? Back to the war front. Guyana's response to Venezuela?
You a champion bubbler. You a champion bubbler. You a champion bubbler.
I could only imagine how the Venezuelans get frightened when they see this.
Alisa, Alisa. Hi. My man wants some more. I'ma do it like that.
I hear this sound.
Cut the pussy on the body like that.
Me want you feel ramp rough with me.
If you drop off of the cocky, you go bounce like that.
Hey Lisa, oh you do it like that.
Here now, the Venezuelan soldiers calculated going to war with them, brother. What they gonna do? This is a surprise tactic. You understand? This is war strategy to its fullest. If these banners so bad with dancing, you could only imagine they might make gun flick. They might control guns with a mind, you understand? Yeah. These banners bad for this. When the Venezuelans see everything, helicopter back to Caracas, everything, boat, ship out, everybody can pack up and gone. You understand? And then my one video, Venezuela make about 20 video and they circulate it, they sharing it and so. One video we make and bam! Hostilities done. Right away, Venezuelan girl start take off the clothes. Like you're sleeping, buddy. What you going on here? In support of Guyanese. Guyana! She can't let me going nowhere. We stay there, we naked, we gotta stay. Woo! We ain't going nowhere. Venezuela saying, we love Guyana. Yeah, we ain't going nowhere. Me, I support you, girl. Welcome to Guyana! Woo! You understand? Is there any specials in wartime? I know normally it's be 15,000, you understand? But if it is a 5,000 special for wartime, we got to, buddy, I tell you. Here, y'all look forward to a wicked episode of The Man Cave. Right? Yeah, Alan, talk to me quick.
You could remember a time about 8 years back when Venezuela they gave me a tackle. And you said we can put John Thompson in front, I can carry the walkie-talkie and you can steer the back. You remember the tackle there?
Well, John, they give me an idea that he brother got military background and he and thing, you understand? But when I met John, I realized, you know,
yeah.
A star could walk over here. John is you know, minuscule.
You can steer the back. You carry the radio on your back, the walkie-talkie.
Really kicks in out them time.
Yes. Anyhow, I'm very happy that I must say that you are the realest thing. I've been listening to you and Selwyn, and your platform is, a lot of people do listen. The lawyer that I made a request to speak to, I'm happy to say that we made contact on a very positive note. And there is a lot of things that, after gathering the information from her, I would like to use my experience to give people the confidence that when you take a lawyer or what you call it, they do their best in court. But the decision maker, which would be the residing judge or the magistrate, seems to demoralize their standards.
Well, I think if I could correct you, Alan, different strokes, different folks.
Yes.
There's some lawyers that are make shit for professional.
She was complimented by the judge on her communication skills, her presentation skills, in cross-examining the defendant.
Well, I must tell you, Alan, that would be worrying to me to see a judge complimenting, because if you gotta make a decision and you don't show you hand, you understand? I would worry when the judge start complimenting because they want to know what's the game, right? So, but you see it. I think the courts work differently. I would be reading into it differently. But yeah, continue.
In the real world, you would look into that. Why would the judge compliment a lawyer? Because it's a professional organization. But as you know, Ms. Glenn said to me, she was complimented. on her presentation, with the expectation of being complimented. We were miles ahead within our situation. But then the carpet was pulled from under her feet in a very disappointing way when the judge decided not to stick to the script as how she was portraying it.
Again, Alan, a judge's interpretation of the law is down at the end of it. And I can tell you, for the most part, most judges try to do their best. I have lost a number of cases. I've won a number of cases. But, when going to the courts, and I've said this time and time again, I think you would have heard this, when you prescribe to the court, it is with the court's best interest, have the court having your best interest at heart, right? So, and when you prescribe to them is with the intention, whatever they say, you will do. Right, so that's how I look at it. That's from my perspective, to bring clarity. Because Guyanese, every time the court, once they win, the court never work for them. They're never satisfied.
Yeah,
and they always figure out it's two things in the court: when they lose and when somebody dead. When somebody dead, Guyanese don't willing to accept is natural. You understand? Accident, something you're sure somebody, they want somebody to be responsible. You understand? Like, that satisfies them. That, well, this person responsible for their own death. Somebody must be responsible for their death. That brings some satisfaction to Guyanese. It's a fucked up thing in this culture, but yes, that's how it goes.
And what is concerning about all of this, it's something now that has raised to the highest level, where the Attorney General has now passed the law through the Parliament, where it can help to have these situations, especially one like mine, being resolved, and the players, like these people who endorse power of attorneys, and these people who put signatories on transport deeds, can be brought in front of the court of law for doing things that is totally fraudulent, because it's fraud. When someone endorses their signature, and especially when you have the documents that I have to prove, it's fraud. So a lawyer would highlight all of these things, and then the decision maker would be the one who have to view those evidence to come up with the answers, and they don't. It's like a can of worms open. It's a collaboration group.
Alan, here up now. I run against time. We got to do this thing next time.
Yeah.
I run against time. I got one more thing for cover here.
Who can explain the Anel Nandala like how you had Selwyn on this morning? Who can come onto your program, because you're the only place we have to express how we feel. If you can get a lawyer to...
I'll try to. Anel Nandalal himself is the ideal person.
Please bring him on your show.
Will do. Safe, Alan, we talk. So, I want to deal with this. We got this thing here. What's this? This is a shoplifter.
Bamsey shop.
And she moving merchandise in the pouch. This is at...
Watch out for it now, what? In the Bamsey.
What happened there? We're going...
Bamsey shop. Watch out for it now, what?
I'm trying to forget the girl name. So it's Kimberly and Randy's fashion at Video Hoop. Right?
In the Bamsey. Bamsey shop.
Oh my God.
Watch out for it now, what?
Fold the thing. Oh shit, and like she done got something else in there. Oh my mama.
In the Bamsi.
There's a whole wardrobe she got it by. Alright, so yeah. Yeah, I'll try there with them thieves though. Here. I think we've had an interesting morning, an education and edifying one. So again, thank you for all your support. Thank you for even the people who try to create confusion and the main fact that you're tuned in. That's the important thing. I want to thank you for being you, because you can guarantee I'll continue to be me. Keep it real.